Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day today. We go racing at one of my more favorite tracks here to come at out of the road courses, Road America. A very just kind of aggressive, wider road course, and you really can just throw the car around, get physical. So I'm very excited for that one. But first, we have a Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series race to get through here from Richmond Raceway, where we had a community member, JC Malia, in the truck for us here as he started about midfield. Now, as every time we come to Richmond, we don't really expect very much whatsoever when it comes to this racetrack, but I can definitely tell you that we had one of our probably best races ever at Richmond for the Going Racing team. That's not saying a whole lot. You're going to see that in just a minute now. As you can see, JC 3 wide on the outside. He was just trying to make whatever he could work throughout the early laps of this race. Now, he was 3 wide in the middle at one point. I think it was even 4 wide at one point throughout this race, but we come through a little bit later now, and he actually was up to the back of that number 87 of Joe Nemechek, but got hit there in the left rear by the 16 of Austin Hill, who would get past him. And then here late in this race, now JC gets past Nemechek in the 87. So we cut straight through to the final lap here, and that was as far as JC Malia got, and he came through out of turns 4, not quick enough to get that 16 of Hill before the race came to a close. He crosses the line here for a 13th place finish, which, like I said, I think that's probably the best effort we've ever had as a Going Racing team at Richmond Raceway. That's how rough our performance has been at this racetrack, in the Truck Series throughout the whole career mode, Xfinity Series as well. We really struggle with our Going Racing team with Paul Menard behind the wheel at the same track, but no Xfinity Series racing here in today's episode, so we jump straight through into the Cup Series, where once again, back to back, I don't think we've run a scheme back-to-back races very often this season, but we have Lation's Razor Exalta Flame paint scheme here, and honestly, this is becoming quickly my favorite paint scheme we've ever run in this career mode. It looks so good, but in the 2 times we've ever run it before, it was at Pocono a couple seasons ago. We crashed in that race, finished terribly, and then we ran it for the 2nd time ever with a few updated changes to the scheme last episode, and you saw us blow a tire, finish in the 20s. So now we come through into Road America for the 3rd time ever with this paint scheme, and now we're trying to get rid of this bad luck that it almost seems like this scheme brings, and we started off with a decent qualifying effort of P13 in Road America. I was not feeling confident whatsoever for some reason in the braking. I was braking at my normal markers here at Road America, but for some reason the car just wasn't slowing down like I usually get it to. So I was overshooting a lot of corners now as Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes on pole. This is actually, I'm doing this a day after the British GP. I would love to hear your thoughts on what happened between Hamilton and Verstappen there if you watched that opening lap of the Silverstone race. So let me know in the comments what you thought about that incident. Now, as you see, though, the rest of the order, Daniel Suarez down there in 34th place, William Byron down there in 40th place. A very rough qualifying effort for a team that's been struggling, along with our Going Racing team has been struggling a lot this season as we get ready to take the green flag here from Road America. All right, boys, it's been a bit of a downhill kind of fall lately over the last few races, but I mean, we're at a road course now. I don't see why we can't change it for the better, so let's go have a good one. There you hear myself on the radio. It's been an interesting last few episodes. We started out the season with a top 5 in Daytona, top 5, I think, in Homestead Miami Speedway. Then we had a crash in Sonoma that took us out of the top 10, but then we went 1 back-to-back. So we had like 4 top 5s in the first 5 races, and now in the last 3 races, we haven't even finished in the top 10. So got to get back on track with this team. Fortunately, we had the 2 wins. We're locked into the playoffs, but we want to be, of course, building up playoff points now as the green flag is out. And we are underway here from Road America, hopefully, to get this 3-race just kind of downfall stretch out of the way, move on into a road course where I'm very confident, comfortable, of course, a lot more comfortable when it comes to these road courses here as we go down into turns 1 behind the rookie for Joe Gibbs Racing of Ty Gibbs. But like I said, and you're going to notice this early in the race, that I had no confidence in the brakes in this car for some reason throughout the majority of the recording I was doing, because in qualifying I couldn't get that car to slow down. And then you're going to notice as this race goes on, I become more and more confident, and you're going to notice that in the braking zones here. But for the early part of this race, I was definitely lacking that confidence that I needed, and I was being very careful into these braking zones, except for this one right here on this opening lap. You see me brake really early, but right here I actually drive into the back of the 96 of the AlphaTauri driver of Brandon Jones. A little bit unfortunate there. He's been having a subpar season so far. Wouldn't be surprised to see him to be a playoff threat, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get a win, of course, now. now, as they are the sister team to Red Bull Racing, and Red Bull's been really strong this season with Christian Eckes behind the wheel. They won at Sonoma after they were able to attack on Kyle Larson on a final restart in that race, in what was a 2-lap dash, where we saw us, of course, up in the mix, and then we blew our chances away from winning that when I crashed the car. So now down into the carousel, you also notice in the top left, only 2 laps here in stage 1 and 2. Last time we came here last season, this was an insane race, so I was expecting the similar result this time, and you do not want to go side by side into that little right bend, so I was trying to make sure we were single file through there the whole time. Now as I make a move up the right hand side of the rookie of Gibbs, got a little bit physical with him. We've run into him now, both road course races actually. Sonoma we dumped him, and now here we are roughing him up at Road Atlanta. So up into the 12th position here as we went down into the final turn behind Todd Gilliland in that front row Mercedes, having a good run behind us. Gibbs messed up the braking point, and that allowed the AlphaTauri of Brandon Jones to actually attack up the inside and get around him for that 13th spot. But now already on the final lap of stage 1, it's 2 laps, but I mean 2 laps is actually a good chunk of time at Road America, but obviously every road course we do is always shorter than the oval races. So, and of course with the length of Road America, 2 laps sounds like nothing, but it is quite a bit here now as we actually misjudged our braking point there down into the left-hander and got into the back of Todd Gilliland, kind of moved him out of the way, but now we move up into the 11th position behind our Gordon Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Alex Bowman here as we come through the carousel. Bowman is in very big need of picking it up here now. He's the only, surprisingly, the only Gordon Hendrick driver without a win, because this team has just completely transformed this season, which was so unexpected with our preseason performance. Larson, he's won 3 races. We've won 2, and then of course Blaney has won 1. So we've just been doing a tremendous job as a Gordon Hendrick team, and then Bowman's just been kind of lacking, and hopefully we can get that performance in his car here before the playoffs now and get him into the playoffs unlike last season. Austin Cindric, though, leads the way out of the final turn. He's going to win stage 1. Keep in mind, he won this race last season, which was his first NASCAR Cup Series career win for Penske Racing in that 33 car. But as we come through out of the final turn now, to the back just about of the 20 of Rajah Caruth, they're looking for a 9th place finish. In stage 1, we have the draft down the front straightaway. We're going to pull over to the right, but it's not going to be enough there as the 20 holds us off, so we still get a solid P10. But at the same time, I was a little bit alarmed or disappointed because we only gained 3 spots the whole stage, so that was a bit concerning, of course. But as I mentioned, I was starting to get a little more confident and comfortable with the braking, and I was just kind of getting back into my rhythm, and hopefully that's going to really help us here in stage 2. Nobody coming into the pit lane, so Austin Cindric, Lewis Hamilton, they will maintain their front row spots here going into the second stage as you look at the rest of the order. So P10, I mean, not the greatest, but we obviously kept it clean, kept the car in one piece, and now after a very calm stage 1, I wouldn't be surprised if it got a little bit wild here in the second stage from Road America. Now as we're going to be back underway here on the right hand side of the track, and now it is time to get amped in Road America. a whole 2 minutes right there of the amped segment. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You saw it all unfold right there where our rival of Joey Logano punted us, shoved us off the track into the sand, and now we're still at least in the top 10 as we start this final lap of stage 2, but now obviously further back than what we could have been. There as I just make a huge mistake. I don't know what I was doing there, don't even ask. It was so bad. I first of all misjudged a little bit on the braking, but I for some reason only shifted down to third gear instead of second gear, and that made it even worse. So I dropped down to P12 after that little just stupid mistake. So as we come through down to the end of this long straightaway for this very hard braking zone, the hardest one on the track probably, or the deepest one, now as we still run P12, we're definitely just not gaining that time like we were last season. That's the thing. It was just so weird. It drove so different than last season. Didn't change anything with the setup. I was running right in the middle of the presets. It was just the balance preset. I think it was like 5 or something like that. So it was frustrating, but we gained more time here on Caruth before this stage came to a close. We got up to P11, then we got up into 10th place, and now as we go down towards these final few turns, we're right back in it to get some stage points, as well as be in the mix for this third and final stage. This time around, it's not Austin Cindric leading. It's Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time Formula One World Champion. Out of that final turn, he's going to easily win Stage 2 here in that Mercedes. And now we have one opportunity here to potentially get the front row Mercedes of Todd Gilliland now, as he's right behind that number 7 McLaren of Eric Jones as we go down this front straightaway for the final time. We have that draft just like we did in Stage 1, and once again, we're going to pull over to the right, but is it going to be enough? It's going to be very close, but we do get him at the line there and get P9 in the second stage. So can't complain because of course how that whole stage went with getting punted into the sand pit from Logano. It still ended up working out, and now we will be coming into the pit lane here from the 9th position. Lewis Hamilton, Austin Cindric, Derek Kraus, Harrison Burton, and Chase Elliott, your top 5. One difference we're seeing here on the road course is it's not a McLaren versus Gordon Hendrick show like we've been seeing quite a few times already this season, and I can see that going through the majority of the season, but this road course is allowing some more teams to get up in the mix like Mercedes and Penske Racing, with Austin Cindric, Logano having a good day as well there, as you see Noah Gragson all the way down in the 40th and last spot. But we end up losing one spot on the pit lane, and that was probably due to the repairs I was making to the car, so we now drop back down to P10, but now in the preferred lane for the start of Stage 3, which is now underway. Lewis Hamilton came out in P1, but coming out in P1 here is a disadvantage for the AI because now they're on the worst lane on the track going down into turns 1, which means there's no reason Austin Cindric shouldn't take the lead here out of turns 1, and sure enough, as I play it very safe into the corner, you can already see Austin Cindric getting out in front of that 44 of Lewis Hamilton. This stuff like right here always also brings it back into my mind that I would really like to see a choose cone feature in the next NASCAR game if possible. It might be a little bit tricky to get that with the AI to, of course, choose their own lane and whatnot, but hopefully somehow Motorsport Games is able to kind of work that in at some point now, as we came through down this long straightaway, making a move to the right hand side of Harrison Burton. But once again, I brake pretty cautiously here into turns 3 there, but we make it work now as we will actually clear the number 19 of Harrison Burton. So as we go down into the next turn, there you see side by side right now in front of us between Eric Jones and the McLaren, Joey Logano in that Penske 22 Ford Mustang, and Elliott right there, he's going to get up into the battle as well, but it's not going to quite work out for him as we go down now towards this sharp left-hander, the 90-degree corner. This is going to be my opportunity right here to slip up the inside of the 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro of Chase Elliott. Trying to be careful around Chase. We've had some run-ins recently. Last episode, I think we ran into each other. Obviously, Phoenix, we really ran into each other. So hopefully we can just move on, like I said previously, from that incident we had with the 9. But we do clear him right now as we go down towards that right bend. And we're going to have a huge run right through here and get to the back of the McLaren of Jones. And we might have a chance to get all the way up into 5th place here. As we pass Jones, no problem. We lunge to the right-hand side of the 22 of Joey Logano. Get clear of him down into the corner. But he is right there on our back bumper. But I brake too deep trying to make sure he can't get to my bumper. And that allows Logano to get back out in front. But we're right on the back of him here into the penultimate turn. I get into the back of him, roughed him up a little bit sideways, goes the 22 of Logano. We're going to look back to the right-hand side. We clear him once again for 5th place, and then he pile drives us into the final turn, sends us into the grass, and off the track we go. And now we're going to rejoin alongside the number 20 car for the 9th position. Wasn't happy at all with that. Obviously, he put us off track earlier in the race, and I felt like we kind of got even right there, even though I didn't do nearly as much to him as he did to me, and then he just completely wipes me out in that final turn. So once again, trying to work our way back forwards, and now on lap 12 of 17, up the right-hand side through the carousel of Harrison Burton, we would get clear of him and try to run down once again our Gordon Hendrick Motorsports former teammate of Chase Elliott, and we would get to him no problem. Once again, towards the end of lap 12, I just blew his doors off here down the straightaway, and I kind of settled in behind Jones for a moment. Didn't really want to get too aggressive there, and as we came through the final turn, Elliott just overdrives the corner right into the side of me. Of course, I was a little bit annoyed again with that 9 car. I swerve over at him to let him know that I don't know what you're doing, Chase, but obviously I was there and I was going for the corner, and then you just came hauling the mail into the corner. So that was very awkward from him, but both of us keep it going in the right direction at least now as we're up the right-hand side of Eric Jones. A lap later through the carousel, the same spot we passed Harrison Burton, as well as Chase Elliott, I think. So we move up into P6 and then get to Logano once again in the same spot for the third time. We have tried to pass him through this area, and we have failed both 2 times so far, and we have a gap on him right now, but I can see him quickly filling up my mirror, and he's coming right for us, and I decided to just back out of it, but unfortunately I did that right there. I put myself in the dirt, and that really pulled me back now. Sorry, the sand I meant we went into. So now through the penultimate turn, I decide right here, we're pitting this lap under the green flag conditions because nobody here can make it without a caution. They will have to pit with at least 1 lap to go. So I decided we're coming in right now because we won't have to deal with the 22 of Joey Logano anymore, and we'll be able to run way better lap times. But now we speed into the pit lane, and now of course we're not going to have to deal with Joey Logano at least, but I completely throw our race away unless we get a very lucky caution here on these next lap or two. So unfortunately it was a 20.6 second pit stop. I didn't take any tires. We didn't need tires. We only needed 1 can of fuel to get to the end of this race, but unbelievable. Now if we don't get a caution, that will be 4 consecutive races without a top 10, and of course this one there's no one to blame other than myself. That's not the first time I've gotten a speeding penalty. If you watched my Nitro video last night from the Nitro Racing League, I was terrible on the pit lane there. I'm terrible on the pit lane no matter what racing game it is. I just always try to attack for too much, and I pay the price so often for it now. So very unfortunate. Now coming to 2 laps to go. Kyle Larson was out front because Austin Cindric and other drivers had come into the pit lane. So Larson, his strategy is to pit coming to the final lap of this race. Will it pay off for him? His only chance really is maybe Cindric got held up on the pit lane. So we come through to 2 laps to go, and we cycle out only to 34th place behind our Gordon Hendrick teammate of Alex Bowman, or P33 here, but of course there's still quite a few drivers that are going to be pitting coming to the final lap, including the leader of Kyle Larson. So Larson cannot make it to the end. He's probably going to finish maybe 10th or so once he comes out of the pit lane here, and now Austin Cindric is going to definitely cycle out, I think, to win this race. So we're running down Alex Bowman. Kyle Larson out of the final turn. You notice on the track map he's going to start slowing down right here, and sure enough, Kyle Larson has entered the pit lane. So this leaves the door open for everybody to behind him to come in, and that will allow Austin Cindric to retake the lead here on the final lap, and he's trying to win the first 2 ever Road America races in the Cup Series. He won it last season, and now he's about to win it again as we clear Alex through the carousel and quickly run down at the Chip Ganassi driver of Timmy Hill. So Larson's still out in front for the time being now, as I'm going to force the issue here on the 40 of Timmy Hill. We look to the right-hand side of him, a dangerous spot to go side by side, but we make it work. We get up to P31. It's going to be interesting to see where we cycle out here on this final lap of this race. Cindric out of the final turn now, going down the front straightaway to reach Kyle Larson as we go down into the last 3 corners of the course. Behind us, a huge incident there. The 40 of Timmy Hill head on into a concrete barrier, and the race is over. Kyle Larson is going to win on the pit lane here in Road America, seconds before Austin Cindric was going to go by all the traffic that was on the pit lane, including Kyle Larson, and win the race. So Larson wins the race because he stayed out longer, essentially, and now that's his 4th win on the year. Unbelievable. I had no words about that one. I could not believe what just happened. You're going to see Austin Cindric ends up P12, and all the cars in front of him were on the pit lane as he was coming out of the final turn to pass them all for the race win, or lead. So Kyle Larson wins the race for the 4th time this season. Unbelievable. And just to think, if he didn't have a poor restart in Sonoma, he would have 5 wins this season. So Kyle Larson is on an absolute tear right now here in the Cup Series career mode. It's unbelievable. And now 4 races in a row, we have completely screwed up and given away a top 10 chance and maybe even a potential top 5. Probably not a race win today, but overall, just frustrating to say the least. But Gordon Hendrick Motorsports now, you see, we've won 2 races, Larson's won 4, and of course, Blaney has won 1. So we've won 7 races already as a team, and we've only done, 9 races on the season. So we've won about 77% of the season so far as a Gordon Hendrick team. What a step up. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. In the next one, we go to Kentucky plus Talladega in the Xfinity Series, but Kentucky for Cup for the only time this season, thank goodness. But I would like to say thank you to the Going Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AG Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, King Matt XL, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I appreciate you guys' support so much, as always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.